So tell me, do you feel a burning between your shoulder blades while you're working during the day? So you're sitting at your computer and you just notice this burning sensation between the shoulder blades. Or maybe when you move that shoulder blade, you hear a crunching sensation and you wonder if that's a bad thing or contributing to your pain. So, I want to talk to you today about your stressed out shoulder blades. So, I'm Stephanie, a physical therapist that uses yoga in everything that I do. And so, let's talk a little bit about anatomy. So, your shoulder blades are designed to give your upper arms, your shoulders, all kinds of freedom of movement. So your shoulder blades are supposed to really move a lot on your thoracic spine, on your rib cage. And so we tend to blame all of the muscles in between the shoulder blades when we feel pain in that area. But let's talk a little bit more about what else is in that area. So, if you've been watching me for a while, or maybe you also know about the sympathetic nervous system. That part of our autonomic nervous system that when it is activated, it sends messages into the entire body that you need to fight or flight. So it activates us into action in the response to fear. That nervous system, that sympathetic part of the nervous system, is located in between the shoulder blades, right along the spine in between the shoulder blades. So those nerves come out of the spinal cord and then they go into these little bundles and they form what we call the sympathetic chain or the sympathetic trunk that runs up and down the spine, up and down the vertebra of the back in that area. Now it runs up and down the entire spine, mostly in that thoracic spine, but the location of the shoulder blades is where the nerves, when they're coming out of that area, they are going to our most vital organs. They're going to our heart, they're going to our lungs, and they're going to our stomach. They're going to parts of our body that plays a vital role in our survival. So if we are activating the sympathetic nervous system, even at a low level, but what I see is people have this low level of startle or stress all day long, then they're keeping that sympathetic nervous system, that sympathetic chain, firing all day long. And when it's firing, it can have that burning sensation between the shoulder blades. So we tend to blame the posture, we tend to blame the muscles between the shoulder blades. But if you can think about some other part of the entire body that might be responsible for that pain, it might just be your nervous system. And so tuning into that area and feeling how the sensation of change maybe fluctuates during your work day might give you some insight as to whether or not that pain is from the nervous system or actually from your muscles. So just a few clues. So if you sit down, first thing you do, you sit down in the morning and you start working, and if you almost immediately notice that burning sensation, it's probably not your posture and it's probably not muscle fatigue. It's probably the stress of opening up all the emails that you've gotten overnight. That's just one example. But to pay attention to when you actually notice that burning sensation. Is that burning sensation consistent with a conversation, even if it's on email, that is a stressful conversation? Is that burning sensation consistent with this feeling of overwhelm that you might have while you're working during the day? Just tuning in. So I'm going to give you some exercises or some activities to help you tune into how those muscles feel. Because I do believe that because we're not as active as we should be during the day, And because many times we don't train the muscles between the shoulder blades, they are typically weak. So if you do some training of these muscles and you begin to get stronger in the muscles, but you still have that pain, that also might give you some indication that is the nervous system and not necessarily the posture or the muscles that's the cause of the pain. So let me give you some of that awareness, some of that awareness of the muscles and of that shoulder blade and how it moves. So just start in sitting first. You can be doing this in a chair, and this would be a good thing to do during the day. If you notice that burning sensation or that pain between the shoulder blades, then you just want to do some shoulder rolls. Start with some shoulder rolls. We're going to make this a little bit more complex, but you just want to roll the shoulders forward, up, squeeze them together, and think about really pushing them down. Let them roll forward, up, squeeze them together, and push them down. So you want to make sure that just this motion, you may find that those shoulders are up towards your ears, and you want to pull them back and push them down. Now that doesn't necessarily change the position of your spine. It's just rolling your shoulder blades on top of your spine. So now let's just take one. Let's just take, this is my right side. It might look like the left to you depending on if we're flipped. Take your left hand and put it right along the collarbone and just lightly touch that shoulder. And I want you to do the same thing with your shoulder blade. Forward, up, back, and down. And you'll feel how that collarbone also moves with it. And just this position of crossing the arm over might help calm that nervous system a little bit, but you're using that left hand just for some feedback, because it's sometimes hard to get that shoulder blade moving. Forward, up, back, and down. You'll see that your fingers then make a circle out to the side. And this is effort. Just holding the arm up is some effort. So now we've got the weight of the arm, and we're asking those muscles of the shoulder blade to work with some effort, which is good. Take that arm overhead. Same thing. Now, so it's not all the way overhead. It's just in a Y position. If we were to take both arms, hold that one arm in a Y. Same thing, shoulder blade. Let's actually go the opposite direction. Forward, down, back, and up. Forward, down, back, and up. And you can see the fingers making a circle off to the right and a bit of a diagonal. So just get that shoulder blade moving. Bring some awareness to that shoulder blade. You should feel some fatigue of the muscles around the shoulder blade and of your upper arm just because you're holding that arm up. Let's do the other side. So right hand crosses over, feeling the collarbone and the shoulder blade, because this flat part on top is still part of the shoulder blade. Fingertips on the arm, just for feedback. Arm straight out to the side, and let's take it in that circle. Shoulder blade is the only thing that's moving. The upper arm is just following along. Forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. You might notice that your upper spine and rib cage rotates a little bit too. That's okay. We like to see some mobility in that rib cage. Again, if we're sitting all day, that area tends to get stiff and it needs to be able to move. Taking the arm a little bit further overhead, we're going to take the shoulder blade in the opposite direction. Up, forward, down, and back. Forward, up, down, and back. Up, forward, down, and back. Just making the circle. If you can't really feel the shoulder blade moving, you maybe feel it with the fingers on the right hand. Focus on making a circle with those fingers off to the left. So that just gives you some awareness, and then you can come back and pay attention again to how it feels right in the middle of the spine. And maybe, you go back to work for a little bit, and when you feel that burning sensation rise again, you can check the posture, do some movements with the shoulder blades, but also take some nice big breaths. A nice big inhale, nice big exhale, even inhale, exhale. That will help down-regulate that sympathetic nervous system. So just some things to think about. Consider that it's not just your posture, It's not just the muscles between the shoulder blades. We tend in physical therapy to say, well, they're fatigued. That's why they've got a burning sensation. That is true. So if you get a lot of fatigue in those muscles, you'll feel that burning sensation. And so start strengthening the muscles between the shoulder blades. I'm going to give you another set of exercises to do. This set of exercises is my absolute favorite. You have to do this probably at home. You can't really do it in your office. So if you come onto your stomach and you go arms overhead into a Y position, forehead onto the floor, chin is tucked, nice long spine. Raise the arms up in a Y position and just hold. Hold for 3 nice deep breaths. I like to incorporate the breathing into the exercise. And then take those arms to a T position. Roll the arms so that the thumbs point up towards the ceiling, palms are facing towards the head. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Keep the arms in a T. Don't let them move down. Just keep them in a T position. Keep rolling the thumbs so that they're pointing up. The forehead can still stay down. Hold again for 3 breaths, or try to go longer. So as you get stronger, you can take more deep breaths, just as a measure of how long you can hold. A nice long isometric hold. And then the third exercise is hands back by your thighs, palms facing the ceiling. Really focus on those shoulder blades. Squeeze them together. Take them down your back, and then lift your arms. If you want to add a little bit more to this exercise, you lift your head, you lift your chest. That's also going to work those muscles in between the shoulder blades. But think about reaching towards the heels, squeezing those shoulder blades together. You could do this with the forehead all the way down. It really doesn't matter. It just depends on where you're starting from. But this is typically when I have people, and you can rest, when I have people in the clinic with shoulder pain, neck pain, some postural dysfunction, that's a set of exercises that I almost give to everybody as first a way to assess how strong are those muscles of the shoulder blades, and then as a way to begin to train them. It's really useful to just get on your stomach. Gravity is your resistance. You can always add weight if you get stronger and you progress. But again, if you begin to progress the strength of those shoulder blade muscles and you still feel a burning sensation, think of another reason why you might have that burning sensation between the shoulder blades. A sensitized nervous system, an overactivated sympathetic nervous system that's keeping you in fight or flight, or a chronic low-level state of stress all day long. So if you are interested in more ways to really get in tune with any neck or shoulder blade pain that you might have, or tension that you hold in that area, I have an online workshop that is just right for anybody to do. Relatively low-level exercises, but they do progress along. But it will give you so much information about your own body that you will be able to integrate then during the day to maintain the health of your neck and shoulders. So I'm again Stephanie Carter Kelly. I'm a physical therapist that integrates yoga into everything that I do. Have a wonderful day. Namaste.